And I now give the floor to Mr. Brock Walker of Reverse the Trend. You have the floor, sir.
Dear President, co-chairs, esteemed excellencies, and colleagues, my name is Brock Walker, and I'm representing the Reverse the Trend, the youth arm of the Nuclear Age Peace Foundation. I was born and raised in Las Vegas, a downwind community. We are just 65 miles south of the Nevada National Security Site, formerly known as the Nevada Test Site. The NNSS was the site of the majority of weapons tested by the United States, with the detonation of over 1,000 weapons between 1951 and 1992. 100 atmospheric tests were conducted until the 1963 ratification of the Partial Test Ban Treaty. The winds carried the fallout from these tests to downwind communities in Nevada, Arizona, and Utah. Today, research demonstrates the impact affected the entirety of the country. Cancer rates in our communities grew dramatically, and our government has continued to suppress official epidemiological surveys to investigate the scope of testing's impact. Over 800 underground tests were conducted at the site, with venting proving to impact the surface environment. Some tests were even conducted at and below the water table, the main source of drinking water for our communities. Testing represents one stage of the violent life cycle nuclear weapons impose on our societies and provides further evidence of the urgent need for disarmament. We have heard from members of indigenous communities in previous days that these tests permanently contaminated land sacred for their heritage, as communities in the deserts far away from D.C. were dispensable in the American government's pursuit of ultimate destruction. The legacy of nuclear testing has for too long painted an uncertain future for our homelands. Beset by decades of nuclear testing that only grew in magnitude, the resulting ionizing radiation released has led to historic devastating impacts and threatened our environment for future generations. The environmental remediation proposed by Article 6 has no corollary in the national policy of the United States. The victims' assistance outlined is paralleled by the inadequate Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, highlighting the necessity for Article 7. National policy in nuclear-armed states to mitigate and remediate the impact of every stage of the lifestyle of nuclear weapons is critically limited due to their continued justification of the maintenance of these weapons of mass destruction. It is next to impossible to receive compensation under RECA, with the burden of proof extremely high for victims of nuclear testing. And without an official epidemiological survey, their suffering goes unnoticed. While the United States has tested on the Marshall and Kiribati Islands, potential claimants for radiological damages suffered by the U.S. government cannot apply for compensation under current RECA national policy. They suffered from U.S. nuclear testing, yet the United States government does not recognize their right to compensation and environmental remediation. The responses to the unnecessary catastrophes we have faced have so far been inadequate to the damage that has been done and that continues to evolve. Most solutions have been temporary, without thinking of how future generations would have to grapple with those same problems later on. With this in mind, it is clear that the TPNW proves a vital method to seek assistance for those suffering from the consequences of nuclear weapons testing and nuclear weapons deployment, and for the aid in remediating contaminating environments. These responsibilities must be made central to any negotiations that are shared among states on the subject of the communities and environments they have and continue to take advantage of. There is no returning to the lands and lives detrimentally impacted back to their natural state. But through Articles 6 and 7, the horrific damages incurred can be mitigated to give as close a sense to return back to equilibrium as possible. The discussion of an international trust fund is a vital path forward that creates a space for all states parties to work together to aid in the humanitarian work and focus that must become central to the discussion of nuclear weapons. Only through international cooperation can we respond to the devastating impact of nuclear testing, as national policy continues to demonstrate inadequacy. We have become the unavoidable victims of the nuclear-armed world, along with countless others across other nations. We refuse to exist only as victims of the past while nuclear weapons are advanced at a rapid rate into the future. As a youth growing up in a downwind community, I am most focused on the future effects of the health and environmental damages caused by nuclear weapons testing. Co-chairs, through Articles 6 and 7, how are we compensating and mitigating the environmental and health impacts of nuclear testing for future generations? Thank you.